a really good multiplayer system. It actually does. If you had guilds to Genshin, the sense of community would be... Chat, the sense of community you get with guilds, it levels up insanely so. Like, have guilds, have like a raid boss you could do, or have guilds and have like even like guild weeklies that you can do that might give you rewards. You can have casual guilds, you can have more competitive guilds. I don't see a downside, but because chat, the multiplayer in Genshin is already actually so good. It is actually extremely fluid. And so if you put guilds on top of that, where you can type in a guild chat and like do your little emotes to everyone, that would be phenomenal. I know people have their reservations because of like, nope, I left from a guild game to Genshin. No, and that's the thing. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be competitive. It doesn't have to be competitive. I think toxic people would ruin it. That's the thing. You could join casual guilds. And if you don't want to participate, you just don't participate, right? I'm not saying you're forced to be in a guild. If I want a guild in other MMO aspects, I play another game, not Genshin. I don't see... I think adding stuff to Genshin, like trying new things with Genshin, there's a lot of arguments to the downsides of it, but I don't really see the downsides of adding new things to Genshin when people can just choose not to play them. Does that make sense? As long as you're not taking away from something else, which is important, adding stuff to experiment to see if people will like it, and then if people don't like it, them just choosing not to partake in that aspect of the game. Like, for instance, who's playing the TCG right now? Be honest. Type 1 if you are, type 2 if you're not. We'll have a live action example. All right. As expected, 20% of people, okay, maybe 10% of people in chat play the TCG. Now, for all the people who typed 2, would you say that TCG harms your Genshin experience? Yes or no? The answer is no. Right? You just don't play it. And that same... I do understand people's fears with like adding guilds and like stuff that's competitive or something. But if they added ranked to TCG right now, which is a complete competitive game mode, people wouldn't care. They just would choose not to play it. And so that's why I'm all for Genshin taking those risks and implementing new stuff, because you never know what will hook. Does that make sense, chat? What did Murder say? Something about it didn't doesn't not Honkai Impact have guilds? Isn't that what Murder was saying? Murder, repost your message, Pookie. Wait, let's see. Hold up. Honkai Impact 3rd having Armada, which are essentially guilds, makes 0 sense when it wouldn't work in Genshin. Oh, I see what you're saying. Maybe if the rankings gave like a lot of Primogems. There's a Genshin player who's a teapot mains. Yeah. And that's the wonderful, that's the awesome and dare I say underrated thing about Genshin is that there are so many different like entirely whole ways to enjoy this game. Lore. Like a completely story player who 100%s every region, or not 100%s every region, but does every world quest, all the main quests, dives into the lore, they play it for the story. That's a type of player. The exploration player, the player who loves exploring and doing puzzles overworld. I mean, these coincide oftentimes, but that's his own type of player. The overworld in Genshin's phenomenal. You can totally play it to just enjoy the exploration of it and the depth of world. The meta players. The players who grind meta to complete the Abyss, the 36 star the Abyss with with one hand tied behind their back and only using 3-star characters. Pulling C6 Farina. Even though it cost them $600. There's players who really enjoy minigames. I love the minigames in Genshin. And there's players who are multiplayer Andes who love playing in co-op all of the time. There's Teapot players. There's TCG players. And that's why I think adding guilds, I don't see any negatives in trying it out. Wait, someone said something interesting. In a 2022 interview with GameSpot, Hoyover stated that they did not plan to add another permanent in-game mode like Spiral Abyss because they did not want to cause excessive anxiety for players. Their reasoning is that many players enjoy Genshin casually, and too much difficult content might alienate them. But you never know. I mean, it's 2025. I think Imaginarium Theater is way more in-game content, technically, than Abyss is.